Hey, what's up YouTube? You're watching Ready Set Drone, and today I have the Insta360 X3. This is a newish 360 camera. It's been out for a couple of months now from Insta360, and we're gonna do a few things with it that I think you might find interesting, so stay tuned and check it out. All right, so if you don't know Insta360, they are a company that makes action cameras and 360 cameras, and this is their latest consumer 360 camera called the Insta360 X3. But this one right here is all-in-one, which makes things really simple and easy to use. You don't have to worry about taking it apart and putting different mods on it. It's very, very consumer-friendly with a big screen on the back, a very big bright screen. Works very well with the Insta360 app. The battery life is pretty decent. There's a lot of great things that I like about this little action camera. Now, I've been using it pretty extensively for the last couple of weeks. I've taken it camping with me. I've taken it mountain biking with me. I took it to Canada to film some stuff up there. And I'm also taking it out on an FPV quad a couple of times. And I found that aside from the weight on the quad, it's great at all of those things. And the weight on the quad is not a problem if you have a fairly strong 6S battery quad like this one here. This is the GEP-RC Mark V, which is plenty strong to carry this. It is one of those cameras that allows you to do some things that you couldn't do with an ordinary action camera. It has in-body stabilization that allows it to be stabilized after the fact. Of course, you use the Insta360 software in order to select what part of the shot you want to see if you're using it as a 360 camera, meaning that since there's a lens on the front and the back, you can pretty much pick the field of view of where you want to see during the shot. And that makes it really versatile. I've said this before about 360 cameras. They are a little bit of extra work because you can't just take the files straight off the card and use them. They're not like MP4 files, MLV files, or something like that that you can drag straight into your editing software. You have to take them through the 360 software first, decide what you want to do in terms of the field of view, etc., and then you bring it into your editing software. So there's an extra step involved, but that extra step is what gives you all the versatility that you might have with something like this. So this particular Insta360 camera, the X3, is a 1/2-inch sensor. They do make some with a 1-inch sensor, but the upside to it is price. This thing is a lot cheaper than a comparable Insta360 camera with a 1-inch sensor. I have enjoyed trying this thing on a selfie stick because it makes the pole disappear and you can do things with that. I've enjoyed taking this out biking. I've enjoyed putting it on the quad and flying it around. It's really very simple, and again, it's not going to break the bank as far as a high quality 360 camera goes. Now, the weight on this thing it's not insignificant, but to me that tells me it's actually well built. It's got this rubberized sides and front and back that are easy to grip onto. The one thing you don't ever want to do with a 360 camera is scratch the lens, because as soon as you scratch the lens, it becomes problematic that spot on the lens, anytime you select it in the software, you're going to see that little smudge or scratch, even a small scratch. So you really got to be careful with the lens on a camera like this. But the fact that the app works so well with this, and the fact that the screen here on the back is so big and bright that you can use it without the app, it's a winner for somebody who just wants to have a versatile camera that they can take along with them and maybe use it in place of an action camera, or maybe use it in addition to an action camera. Okay, so for the Insta360 X3, you have to actually mount it to your quad with the 1/4-20 thread, which most quad mounts are a GoPro type mount, but what I have here is a little GoPro type mount that goes into a GoPro type mount and has a 1/4-20 on the top. So with that, I'm just gonna twist it here on the top. Okay, you just have to get it perfectly straight. lined up with it. But once you do, it threads in. And now it's sitting on there just fine. It's turned on, and it does have some adjustment to it. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna just push it back against the battery so that the battery is kind of holding it from going any further back. And it's fairly tight, and I'll go ahead and roll some video with it. And I'm in 5.7K 360 mode, so we should get some nice 360 footage from this flight. Okay, so we've got a very light mist of rain coming down, but I'm gonna try it anyway. And I wanna see how this feels with this extra weight. And so this is the GEP RC Mark V, which is a beast of a drone, flying a 6S battery. So it should be okay. Yeah, it feels really good. Go under the scoreboard here. And the only thing to keep in mind with this particular camera on top of it is this camera is tall. It sticks up quite a bit. So, you know, where you normally might duck under one of the Red Devils pretty easily, it's not going to be quite as easy to duck under a Red Devil with this camera on it. And I just got a drop of rain on the lens, which I can still kind of see, but it's a little bit inhibited. And then of course, let's see how it flips with this on it. Oh, just fine. I'd say about the only thing I'm really noticing is that when I am coming out of a dive, it takes a little more gas to recover out of a dive. All right, now it's raining proper, so I'm gonna bring it in and land it. Ah, I think I missed. So a few things I've noticed about flying with the X3 on an FPV quad. First of all, you need a 6S quad that has plenty of power, which this one has. So that was good. Second of all, you need the 1/4-20 thread to connect it, which you can adapt to it, which we did there, and that works pretty well. You don't really have to worry about if the camera is angled a little bit because it's 360, so it's not like you won't get a forward view or even a forward and down view. And actually angling a little bit as you're flying forward is probably good. It does make the nose really heavy. So if you're used to flying in stabilized mode, it's going to compensate for that, but as soon as you switch into acro mode, it just wants to tip down because the center of gravity on this thing is way forward now. So that's okay as long as you're comfortable flying that way, which I was, and it recovered quickly, but just be ready if you switch between stabilized and acro mode, it's going to tip forward because of the weight. But ultimately, the footage you get from something like this is amazing. It's like no other footage you can create with an action camera.
Don't eat my camera, man.
All right, we call this the spiral of death. Go, 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 go. Spiral of death. You have to go till you puke. If you have comments about the Insta360 X3, please leave them below. I'd love to hear what you think about it. I'd love to hear if you've put it on a quad or done other interesting stuff with it. There's a ton of cool tricks you can do with these things, and there's lots of other YouTube channels that show you how to do those tricks. But ultimately, if you just want a really versatile 360 camera that gives you the ability to reframe your shots after the fact, the X3 is a great camera for the price. Let me know what you think below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. We'll see you next time on Ready, Set, Drone.
Go back to the teeth.